Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Sam.
And I'm Melissa.
I was number 243 on Beast Games, and I was one of the unlucky 3 that at the very end of episode 3 was eliminated because my teammate put the cuffs on 4 seconds too late.
Every time you say it, it's like, ugh. I can't imagine how you feel. But
It hurts.
Oh.
So episode 3, guys, we're back. We covered episode 1 and 2 in our last video. So we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what it was like on Beast Games for episode 3.
Yes, if you want to watch those first 2 episodes, well, we actually have 2 videos. One about what it was like here in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. And we also have the first 2 episodes and what it was like going through those challenges. So we'll leave a link above to those videos as well. But getting into episode 3, we kind of ended in the last episode talking about the fact that you come off of those towers and the bribes, and none of the team captains took these $1 million bribes. I hate to call people an idiot, but I don't know another word for not taking $1 million.
I mean, in the moment, I was super grateful that my team captain didn't, right?
It's true, because you would have been
looking
eliminated.
back now and watching it, I'm just like, $1 million, and they all said no. How? All they had to do was push a button. Just push a button.
Easiest decision.
Oh.
But that's why they got picked as the team captains.
True.
But they come back. They're now heroes, basically. And you said you got like a day off, right?
Yep, we got to hang out in the city for a little bit and just relax and take in what had happened, which wasn't really relaxing because we're stressed out about what's going to happen next. Which, of course, the day comes. Mr. B shows up and says, hey, guess what, guys? We're just going to do something fun today. No stress. Don't worry about it. We're just chilling. And we're going to do a game where it's a non-elimination game. So you get to just pick 2 people. So teams of 3. Everybody go ahead, pick teams of 3. We're going to do a gunny sack race.
Now, before you pick this team and before you talk about that, I have to point out our 8-year-old daughter is like the biggest Mr. Beast fan ever. And before Sam left, the only like advice that she gave him, she said, Daddy, if there's ever a time where Mr. Beast wants you to pick a team, make sure you never pick your friends.
She's a smart one.
Don't pick your friends, Daddy, because he always tricks people into picking their friends.
I should have listened. But being in the moment and because Mr. Beast said it was a non-elimination, I didn't listen. I'm sorry, little one. I'm sorry. I should have listened. And actually, one of my closest friends in the game, Jordan, he actually felt, I could tell he was a little bit hesitant. Like, there might be something to this. And he wasn't sure if he wanted to be in a team with his friends. And now I'm looking back and wishing that maybe we had talked about it a little bit. But in the heat of the moment, we knew it was going to be a race. We just wanted to be with people that were athletic. And I had some good friends that were very athletic. And so we just teamed up. And so that was that. And then, of course, not too long after that, they required that all of us teams got a picture together. So
could you sense that like they were going to use that against you?
Yes.
So that you couldn't switch teams?
In that moment, we were all like, oh, okay. They're not going to allow us to switch teams now because they have a picture of us. What's going to happen? So whoever wins the gunny sack race gets to the villa and whatever is in the villa, which we thought maybe it's a lot of money, maybe it's immunity, who knows? But wow, all we care about in this moment is we are going to practice. We're going to hop our little butts off and try to get through and win the prize.
I would have paid to watch you gunny sack because Sam's very tall. He's 6'4".
Yeah.
And I feel like gunny sacks don't really like work well if they only go up to your knees. How was that for you?
For both me and Jordan, our other teammate Sam as well, Samantha, but she did well because she's not as tall as us, but he's really tall. I think he's about 6'4" as well. But both of us were having an interesting time gunny sacking. but I don't know. I can't look back and say if I did well or not. All I know is I was hopping as fast as I could. We did a pretty good job, honestly, as far as coming in at a good pace, but ultimately we did not win. The winners of the challenge did get immunity for the next one, which, oh my gosh, if I had only known how beautiful that would have been to have immunity for this next challenge. It was the most cruel, crazy one ever.
Now, when you get done with the gunny sack race and you're like, okay, we lost, did they immediately say, okay, now you and your team are headed off, like you're being marched on? Or was there like a break between and you didn't know until like the next day?
It was the same day. There was a moment where we got to go talk and cry or whatever because we knew in that moment that we were going to be teamed up, and I think Mr. Beast revealed it almost immediately after the gunny sack race that we were going to have to to go against each other in the next challenge. And we just knew that it was going to be awful. And so all of us were just, the feeling in the city was very just solemn, and everyone was very frustrated and sad because everyone had made that mistake, if not everyone, most everyone, of getting in a team with their closest friends.
Yeah.
And anyway, so they put cuffs on us so that we were cuffed together in threes and bust us off to the location where the red cubes were, or the red rooms, and put us in these rooms. Oh, just the feeling going into this.
They look like insane asylum.
Yeah, because in the inside,
type,
the outside
all
was
white,
red.
Padded.
Yeah.
They look creepy.
So the outside was red. The inside was all white. And it was kind of like a dry erase board type material in the inside. So we were able to marker on it and things like that. And yeah, just this very small white room. And man, I mean, before I get into what it was like, do you have any questions? Because I imagine there's something that people are wondering about these rooms.
Yeah. Did you know before you got to the room, did they already explain what was going to happen, or did you get into the rooms first?
Before we had all of the rules, we were already in the rooms.
Okay, so you knew going in
all we really
someone was going to be eliminated, or
yeah, all we really knew is that we were going to have to go against each other, and that one of us from our team would have to be eliminated.
Okay, and did you know what the phone was going to do?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
Not until we got in.
So you get in and there's a phone, and you're like, what's going on?
Yep. So we wondered what the red phone was. But the challenge, I think, was called Ask for Anything. So we knew that the phone was going to be to call and ask for things.
Okay.
So we go in. They lock us in these rooms. They did have like windows on the side that could open, but we couldn't just I guess we could have walked out or jumped out a window, but then we'd be eliminated.
Yeah.
So who would want to do that? But the rules of the games were, number one, you can use the red phone to call the Beast team and ask and request anything you want. And as you can see in the episode 3, once again, if you haven't seen it, go watch it first. But people got very creative. I look back now and I'm thinking, man, we were kind of boring.
Yeah, what did you guys ask for? Because they didn't show that.
So
obviously, they can't show all of these cubes.
First of all, people were asking things at a very rapid pace. So for the team to keep up with the requests, especially some of the requests being so crazy as they were, some of the orders weren't fulfilled. Which makes sense, I guess. But we asked for yoga mats, which we got. Both of my teammates are very into yoga, so they both wanted yoga mats, and hey, some comfortable to sit on, so why not? Because there weren't chairs or anything.
Yeah.
We asked for that. We asked for a sushi meal, which we got, which was fantastic. And then we asked for like some markers. We asked for some quarters, and I'll get into why we asked for quarters later on. When we first got in there, my friend Jordan had a bunch of rocks in his shoes from running around in the city and doing the different games and things. And so he got these rocks out, and we started playing this game just for fun, where we would throw these little pebbles at the edge of to the other end of the room, and whoever got the pebble closest to the wall would win.
Okay.
And so we were just kind of playing that game for a while, just for fun, to keep the time, pass the time. You can ask for anything, but the only way to move on is one person in the room has to cuff themselves to the wall. There were these cuffs that were mounted to the wall. They had to cuff themselves to the wall, which would be self-sacrificing themselves. They'd be eliminating themselves, allowing their other 2 teammates to move on in the game. Once again, it had to be a self-sacrifice game.
Now, it's showing like when you watch the episode and you see like there was one team who like made the decision that happened really quick. Could you hear when other people were making the decisions and like when people were...
You would hear cheering and things, yeah.
Okay.
You could hear other people in the other rooms. If you yelled, the other rooms could hear you.
Okay.
And so like people were yelling silly things and whatever. But for the most part, yeah, it was just pretty silent, people talking here and there, people trying to come up with a strategy on how they were going to decide. Because for us personally, we're all 3 of us are very competitive people, and so we weren't going to just walk out.
No one was going to self-sacrifice.
We weren't willing to just self-sacrifice just like that. We all 3 wanted to move on very badly. And so ultimately, and that's why I brought up the Pebble game, ultimately we decided we wanted to play a game. Whoever loses the game agreed to cuff themselves to the wall, and that's how that would allow the other two people to move on.
Whose idea was it to play this game, babe?
It was kind of all three of ours. Jordan had, one of my teammates, Jordan had the idea of the game, or he was more familiar with how the game works, so he introduced it to us. But all three of us agreed because really it's not luck. It had to take some skill. And on top of that, it wasn't just like one of us was a lot better at it than anyone else. It was a pretty level playing field.
Yeah.
And so we all had lots of time to practice. We asked for these quarters. And with these quarters, we practiced throwing them. We would put our back against the wall. We would throw the quarter to the edge of the wall. If the quarter slid under the wall or touched the wall or was the closest to the wall from the other quarters, that person would win.
Okay. Did you play the game like when you first got in, you guys decided this plan and you just played?
It took us a little while. I would say, I don't know, before we came to the decision on what we were going to do, maybe an hour and a half.
Okay.
We got the quarters and we were practicing for a while. And then anyway, throughout this, I'm thinking, man, I mentioned it a few different times. I said, let's just get the game over with so that we know what's happening, and then we can party and talk and play or whatever we want to do, but let's get the game over with because I don't want to run out of time. 4 hours is a lot of time, but it's going to go by quick, you know? Anyway, so for whatever reason, it took us a long time to get to that position of actually playing the game. Finally, we got there after practicing for a while. So there were three of us, of course, right? So we would each take turns throwing the quarter, and then we'd go up there, and the person that had the quarter furthest away from the wall would get a tally mark.
Okay.
Right?
Seems fair.
Yep. And the first person with 5 tally marks loses the game, cuffs themselves to the wall. That was our game.
So simple.
Yeah. So we play. I ended up winning, getting the least amount of tally marks. My friend Jordan came in second, and then our friend Sam came in last and lost the game. And just the whole process, I say it that quickly and nonchalantly, but oh my gosh, the whole process was such an emotional train wreck. It was just, as we were throwing these quarters, even though, like for me, if mine was closest and I didn't get a tally mark, it was heart-crushing to know that one of my other closest friends were going to have to eliminate themselves if I won. Because at this point, we were very, very close to each other. And we wanted, out of all the other people, we wanted one of them to win it all, right? Yeah. That's how close we were. So it was just heart-wrenching. But we play, and as time got closer and Sam was realizing that it's possible that she could lose. I think it got down to the last coin toss, and if Jordan got closest to the wall, he would move on and she would be eliminated. Anyway, it got down to the last little bit, and before we even finished the game, she just buckled over in tears and was crying and sobbing for a long time, because I don't know how long. It was quite a long time, because she just knew that it was coming to an end. And of course, seeing her so sad and seeing her in that situation, Jordan and I were just, we were in tears as well and just trying to comfort her. And it was just such a sad, oh my gosh, just everything we had been through together. We had become good friends way back in the very beginning in Las Vegas at the Raider Stadium. We had been friends through it all. So we were very, very close and very excited to see each other once again when we got to Canada. So it was just a hard thing to see such a close friend be in such a bad situation. But it was something that we had agreed to, and either way, it would be sad no matter who lost. But I bring that up because a lot of time was spent in tears and sadness.
Before she even lost the game.
Before the game even came to an end.
Okay.
So then the game continues, and ultimately she ends up losing the game. And then when that comes to it, when the end comes and she realizes she loses, once again, we're all super sad, and it was just so many tears.
How much time was left
crying.
At that point?
I think at that point there was about 45 minutes left on the clock.
45 minutes.
So there's still quite a bit of time.
That's a long time.
Quite a bit of time, yeah. And the episode doesn't show this. It just shows that, hey, you know what, 4 seconds too late. And that's what it gets to. It comes to that. We couldn't comfort her to the point of her putting the cuffs on.
Did you get warnings, though? Like,
Yes.
let's go back to 45 minutes before you talk about the
Yeah.
cuff part, because this part to me is like, oh my gosh, it's the most brutal part. So you have 45 minutes. She's crying. I'm guessing you guys are trying to comfort her,
Yeah.
trying to console her.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a clock in there somewhere to see the time going down, or were you getting warnings?
We did not have a clock, but every so often, I think it was every half hour, if I'm remembering correctly, Mr. Beast would get on the microphone or speaker and tell us, you have this amount of time remaining. And remember that if one of you doesn't cuff to the wall, the whole team is eliminated. So one of you has to cuff to the wall.
Okay, so you get a 30-minute mark.
I think we got a 30-minute
and
warning.
She doesn't go.
Once again, no. And she kept saying, through her tears, she kept saying, you know, I'm not going to be able to do this. One of you is going to have to cuff me to the wall. Or one of you is going to have to do it for me. And I don't know for sure. I look back now and I wonder if maybe she hoped that in her state of sadness that maybe one of us would step up and cuff ourselves to save her because she was so sad. Maybe that was her strategy behind it all. Because other than that, I can't see why she would wait for so long.
Well, and it seemed clear that like you had to cuff yourself to the wall.
Well, and that was the impression I had, and I think you even catch me saying this at the end of the episode. I think you can hear me say, "I don't think we can do it. You have to do it yourself." I don't know if it's allowed for anyone to cuff another person. Like you have to self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to cuff her because then if that goes against the rules or something, maybe it would be sacrificing me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to take that risk, and I didn't want to be the one to eliminate her either. It was, you know, we had come to this agreement, and I just thought, you know, we'd play it fairly. So I didn't want to do that.
So 30 minutes comes, you get an alarm, nothing is happening.
So he gave us a 1-minute warning.
So okay, so between 30 and then there wasn't another warning until 1 minute?
I don't know for sure. I don't remember. It was a lot going on in the moment. All I know is that we got a 1-minute warning. It said you have you have 1 minute left.
Is she calmed down by this point?
No.
Because 45 minutes is a very long time to cry. Like that would be emotional.
No, there's no
exhausting.
calming down for anyone. Jordan and I also were very distraught. We're very just beat down, trying to comfort her. We're sad as well. And we're just trying to, me finally it gets down to, he said there's 1 minute left, and I'm like, come on. And I think you can actually see me. I kind of help her up, and I'm like, please, you know,
agreed to this.
Do what we talked about. And she walked over, and she finally grabs the cuffs and puts them on, and they were kind of on crooked. And so I actually helped straighten them for her because she put them on. They just weren't quite on straight and all the way. So I tried to straighten them for her. And
was there like a 10-second countdown or anything, or was it just the 1 minute and then it was over?
There was I don't remember if it was 10 seconds, but there was just like a couple second countdown.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly how many seconds. I think I don't know if it shows it in the episode or not, but he counts down. It's like, okay, you have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you're not cuffed, you're done. So we had a lot of warnings. A lot of warnings. But ultimately she did put them on.
Did you think in that moment, though, when you're helping her adjust and you're hearing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, did you think that she'd gotten them on in time, or did you know right from the get-go that she didn't?
I thought she would have gotten them on. I thought she got them on with like a half a second left.
Okay.
I thought she had put them on just in time, but then with me adjusting them, I don't know if they counted that adjustment as them being put on or not. I don't know for sure. I wasn't watching the clock. All I know is that we adjusted, and she did put them on, and then she just sat down and crying with the cuff on. She did put them on, but yeah, and so we weren't sure what was going to happen.
How long did you
I
have
was
to
nervous
wait?
as I was adjusting her cuffs, and then I walked away. I was thinking, oh my gosh, they could totally make me look like a villain here if they wanted to make me look like I put the cuffs on her, but it doesn't look that way. At least I don't think it does. But.
No, it doesn't. It looks like she was asking you to help her put them on, and you guys were like, I don't think we can do that, but that you guys were just so, I don't think it made you guys look bad at all. But how long, so she cuffs herself, and you're sitting there knowing that she's hopefully eliminated and that you're safe, but you know that it's close.
We know it's very close. We weren't sure.
How long
At
did
least
you have to
I
wait?
wasn't sure in the moment. I don't remember exactly. It was a little while, maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
We're sitting there thinking, okay, I have no idea what's happening. All I knew, though, is that our rooms, the lights in our room had gone off. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, crap. I imagine they're turning the lights off on all of the rooms that were eliminated. But I'm still hoping. I'm like, come on. Ultimately, the producers walk in and say, you were 4 seconds too late. They say, we are so sorry. We reviewed the footage over and over and over and over again, but you were 4 seconds too late with the cuffs. And all 3 of you are eliminated. And yeah. Oh my gosh. So it was just such a crappy way to go out. I mean, after everything we'd been through. And ultimately, we were very sad, and Sam, the other Sam, Samantha, she was very sad as well, and she, was crying. It was like, oh, like it even made her more sad when she realized that we were all eliminated as well. Did she feel like
remorseful for the fact that she took you guys out for no reason?
She definitely seemed that way. It seemed to make her even more sad when she found out that was the case, but. Yeah, so that, I guess, was just the result of waiting too long, and so we were all eliminated, and that was the end, and we walked away with nothing. I mean, and then I look back and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's exciting that I made it that far, and I made it to the city, and I was able to have this really cool experience, but after all of that, to walk away with nothing because I didn't take a bribe earlier, I could have walked away with $100,000, All of these things are running through your mind, and you're just thinking, that sucks.
What did it feel like getting your phone back and calling me from your side?
I'm not going to lie. I get back to the hotel. I get my phone, get my stuff back, and I'm just looking at my phone, and I hesitated. I don't know how many times to push the call button, because I'm just like, after I knew so many times you got the text message, hey, he's moving on. And then to come home with nothing, I just felt like I had failed. It was for nothing, basically, the whole thing, because I came home with nothing. So it was hard. It was hard to call you, and of course you were very excited to hear me. And
it was very bittersweet when I saw your name come across my phone, when it wasn't a text from a producer or a call from a producer, but when it was from your number. But there was still a piece of me that wasn't sure. Because at this point, it was a couple episodes in. So I was like, I wonder if they have a chance to call their loved ones if they were going to the island. Because that was another thing that was talked about on social media. The fact that there would be the city, but there would also be this island. And so when I saw your name on my phone, I remember thinking, this doesn't mean he's eliminated. What if he has a chance to call and they're being transported somewhere else? And so obviously it was great to hear your voice. It was as he was telling me this story, though, it was kind of funny because he was still, you could tell,
like so fresh off of it.
Yeah, he was shocked and sad. I don't think there was any anger in him at all. And as a loved one, I was so angry. And I'm not typically a very angry person.
No, I was trying to defend Samantha and say,
it was
just as hard for her, and
all this stuff. And I remember, like, you were like, we're gonna go down and eat breakfast. Like, you went to go eat breakfast with Samantha and Jordan, and I was like, how could you go and eat breakfast with the person that betrayed you? Like, she sent you home. It's all her fault. I'm not angry anymore. Samantha, if you're watching this.
Yeah, but I saw her again at the premiere. We got to go, some of us, and watch before it was released, and watch the first couple episodes, and I saw her again, and she said, tell your wife and kids I'm so sorry. Like, she was very apologetic, and I think that she's come to terms with it now as well, that it was just, if she had just
4 seconds,
if she had just put him on after losing the game and then sat there, and we could have hugged and cried it out, right? Then the whole situation would have been different.
I was definitely frustrated a little bit longer than Sam was, because I didn't have the emotional side to it, right? So I think both sides were fair. Like, you being sad instead of mad made perfect sense in that moment. Me being mad and not sad. Well, I'm like more mad than sad for a while there, because I was like, what is going on? And I don't know this person, right? Like, I don't have that connection to know, like, what her intentions were at all.
Right.
So in my mind, I was like, she chose to not do that, and she made it so you got eliminated because of it. So it's crazy, the amount of emotion. And then, like you said, kind of going back to what you're saying earlier, of like these, as you were telling me, all these other things that had happened, and then hindsight's 2020. Like, you can be like now saying, oh, I should have taken the bribe for $100,000, but you were there to win $1 million.
Well, I was there to win $5 million.
Oh yeah, $5 million. Sorry.
Yeah, but But also in those moments of bribes, I was thinking we're early on, there will be more bribes. There will be bigger things that I'll have potential for. And just the simple fact of moving on in the show.
It's huge.
And who knows what kind of opportunities that could bring just by simply being a part of something so big, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is such a big TV show and so many players and so many world records being broken. I mean, it's such a crazy experience all in itself that I wanted to go as far as possible in it as well.
Yeah. And I mean, there was like 240 something or 260 players by the time in the round that you went out.
Yep.
So, I mean, to go from 2000 to the top 250 is incredible and awesome. And you should be super proud. I'm super proud of you still. But it was crazy just how it all went out. And it was like a blur. Like, I'm glad you were able to come home quickly. Like, they put you on a flight right away.
Oh, yeah.
So it was within 24
I was home
hours.
very quickly. And after watching the other episodes, I do have to look and say, I mean, these challenges continue to be just as crazy. A lot of things happening. A lot of luck. And so sure, maybe I would have won it all, right? If only I'd had the opportunity to move on. But at the same time, the likelihood of that with the way the challenges continued, pretty unlikely to make it all the way to the end. But still, it would have been cool to continue on. But in the end, it is what it is. 4 seconds.
4 seconds too late. And I will say too, so far there's 7 episodes out, and I'm still surprised that there haven't been more blanket bribes. There's been like smaller bribes. I mean, there's been a couple for like team leaders and stuff, but overall, like, I think I would have thought the same as you, that if there was bribes as big as any person could push a button for $100,000 in the very first episode, what kind of bribes are to come? And so the fact that in the next, 2 episodes after that, there wasn't an opportunity for you to get bribed or to, I don't know, it's crazy. The Beast games are crazy. It's a lot of fun to keep watching and see. Man, even now in top 10, you have a friend that's still there. Yeah. So go, Yessie.
Yeah, Yessie's still in there. She's awesome. I was great friends with her throughout the game as well. And at this point, honestly, I don't know how it ends. I do have all of these insider connections, but they've been very good at keeping it on the down low and not allowing people to know who wins at all and all of that. So I'm still sitting on pins and needles. I recognize a lot of these people. I have friends still left in it. And so I'm just thinking, man, I'm rooting for some of the people, hoping they win, but I don't know how it ends.
Okay, so here's the question that I'm sure you guys are thinking, which is, now that you've been through Beast Games, the first season, would you go back and do it again?
Holy smokies. When I first got eliminated, my thought was, heavens yes, I'd be right back tomorrow if I could for this opportunity. And ultimately, yes, I would for $5 million. That's one of those.
Chance at $5 million.
Only if it's guaranteed. I would only do it if it was guaranteed. No. Yeah, of course, that's just a life-changing experience, a life-changing amount of money, a life-changing everything. And there were some things throughout the show that people are complaining about, people are, saying things about, but I have to go based off of my personal experience. And I do feel for those people that did have a bad experience, especially in Las Vegas. And I am just so sorry that happened to them. But ultimately, I think that the team, Mr. Beast and his team, were trying very hard to give everyone a really good experience. And I felt that in my experience was, it was brutal because of the challenge, but that's going into something like this at a chance of winning $5 million. Who wouldn't expect it to be brutal and hard and very, very challenging to do? So going into it, knowing this is not going to be a cakewalk, I felt like it was an overall very fair and good experience to be able to at least, go in and make such good friends. Lifelong friends, really. It's crazy how those bonds can create when you go through something so intense with other people. And so overall, it was a good experience. Definitely crazy. One of the craziest of my life. But I'd do it again. Yeah.
I would let you do it again too.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say the words let, because it's not, we have a good partnership, but I would encourage you to do it again too, especially because of the way that you went out, where it was so out of your hands and out of your control. I think it would be cool for you to get an opportunity if anybody from Beast Teams is watching. He's definitely down for season 2 if you need a comeback player.
Yeah, and I have to say, at least as you watch it back, there weren't, I mean, if you watch other shows like Survivor or Outlast or something like that, where these people are basically freezing to death or starving to death and things like that. I personally never had something so intense as that. And so, I mean, I was living like a king compared to those people that go and their ultimate grand prize is $1 million.
Yeah.
Or splitting $1 million. So, you know, it was a pretty crazy experience, and definitely starting out with 2,000 was a lot of people for sure. But anyway, it was a good experience for me.
Yeah. So there it is about Sam getting eliminated from Beast Games in the last 4 seconds, out of his control. Hopefully he gets another chance at something like that. That'd be awesome. But we will keep y'all posted if there's another opportunity for him out there.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us again and listening to me blab about my experience on the Beast Games. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I answered some of the questions maybe you had, and we look forward to chatting with you soon.
Talk to y'all soon.